But tell me honestly, when you start your day reacting to others, who is actually controlling your life in those first hours? Because if your first 3 hours are controlled by outside distractions, do you think you will be able to control the rest of your day? Or will your day just keep pulling you in different directions like a leaf in the wind? Think about this carefully. What you do in the first 3 hours is like setting the tone of music for the entire day. If the beginning is chaotic, everything after that feels harder. But if the beginning is focused, everything becomes smoother. Have you ever experienced a day where you started strong in the morning and everything just felt easier afterward? And on the other hand, have you experienced a day where you started late, lazy, or distracted, and the whole day felt heavy and unproductive? This is because your brain follows patterns, not random decisions. When you train yourself to waste the first 3 hours, your mind accepts that as normal. But when you train yourself to use those hours with purpose, your mind starts respecting discipline. So let me ask you, what pattern are you building every single morning without even thinking about it? Imagine 2 people waking up at the same time. One immediately checks his phone, gets lost in messages, news, and random videos. The other spends just a few minutes planning the day, thinking about goals, and starting with focus. Now tell me, after 3 hours, who do you think is already ahead mentally? And more importantly, which version of you are you becoming every day without noticing it? People often think success is about working hard all day long, but in reality, success is often decided in how you start, not how long you work. Because if your first 3 hours are wasted, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover instead of moving forward. Have you ever felt like you were busy the whole day, but still didn't move closer to your goals? That feeling usually starts in the morning without structure. Your first 3 hours are also the time when your willpower is strongest. Later in the day, decisions become harder, distractions become stronger, and excuses become easier. So tell me, why would you use your strongest mental energy on things that don't matter instead of using it on things that actually build your future? Does that make sense when you think about it deeply? Even something simple, like reading, planning, exercising, or focusing on your most important task can completely change your direction for the day. But most people give those hours away without realizing their value. Have you ever calculated how many hours in your life are already lost just in random mornings with no direction? And let me ask you something very honest. When you wake up tomorrow, will you treat your first 3 hours like something valuable or like something empty? Because the difference between those two choices is the difference between progress and repetition. And do you feel your current routine is taking you closer to where you want to be, or just keeping you in the same cycle? Some people say they don't have enough time in the day, but the truth is, they are not using the most powerful time they already have. If you take control of your first 3 hours, you automatically create more control over everything else that follows. So what would happen if you started just 1 week with full discipline in your mornings? Do you think your mindset would shift even slightly? Because once you experience a strong morning, your brain starts craving that structure again. It becomes easier to repeat, easier to maintain, and slowly it turns into your identity. And tell me, wouldn't it feel different if your identity became someone who uses time with intention instead of wasting it unconsciously? The first 3 hours are not just time, they are direction, and direction decides destination. Focus on important tasks before easy distractions, because in every day you are not short of time, you are short of clarity about what actually matters most. Have you ever sat down in the morning and felt like you have 100 things to do, but still you end up doing the easiest thing instead of the most important one? That is how distraction quietly takes control of your life without you even noticing it. Don't you think that sounds familiar? The human mind is naturally attracted to comfort, not progress. It chooses messages over thinking, scrolling over planning, and entertainment over deep work. But tell me honestly, when you finish a day full of easy tasks, do you feel proud, or do you feel like something important was missing? Because the difference between success and struggle is often decided by whether you did what was easy or what was necessary. Have you ever noticed that pattern in your own life? Important tasks are usually not urgent, and that is why people delay them. But easy distractions are always waiting, always calling, always available. So what do you usually choose first when you start your work? The thing that builds your future, or the thing that only gives you temporary comfort? And if you repeat that choice every day, where do you think it leads you after 1 year? Many people say they are busy all day, but if you look closely, most of their time goes into low-value activities. Answering unnecessary messages, checking social media, watching random videos, or doing tasks that don't really move their life forward. Have you ever finished a long day and realized you didn't do the one thing that actually mattered the most? That feeling is not lack of time, it is lack of priority. Your most important task is often the one you avoid the most. Why do you think that happens? Is it because it is difficult, or because your mind is afraid of effort? Because anything that creates real growth usually requires focus, and focus feels uncomfortable at the beginning. Don't you agree with that? Imagine your day as a battlefield between two forces. One is distraction and one is discipline. Distraction is always easier, always louder, always more attractive. Discipline is quiet, simple, and often ignored. So tell me, when your day starts, which one wins more often in your life right now? If you always start your day with easy tasks, your brain learns to stay in comfort mode. But if you start with important tasks, your brain slowly builds strength and focus. Have you ever tried doing your hardest task first in the morning and noticed how the rest of your day becomes lighter afterward? And if you haven't, what is stopping you from trying it even once? The truth is, important tasks don't become easier by waiting. They only become heavier in your mind the longer you delay them. And while you delay them, distractions quietly consume your time, energy, and attention. So let me ask you, what is the one important task you have been postponing for days or even weeks right now? Many people wait for motivation to start important work, but motivation usually comes after action, not before it. When you start with small discipline, motivation follows naturally. So why wait for the perfect mood when you can create progress by starting imperfectly? Do you think your future self would thank you for starting today or for waiting again? Think about your daily routine honestly. What gets your attention first, your goals or your distractions? Because whatever gets your attention first usually controls your entire day. And if distractions win your attention in the beginning, do you think it becomes easier or harder to take control later in the day? Now imagine changing just one thing. Imagine starting your day by doing one important task before touching anything else. How different would your confidence feel after just 1 week of that change? And tell me, do you think your mind would start respecting your own discipline more if you did that consistently? Important tasks are like seeds. They don't show results immediately, but they decide your future. Easy distractions are like sugar. They feel good instantly, but leave no long-term strength. So which one are you feeding your time to more often in your daily life? Sometimes people know exactly what is important, but they still avoid it because distractions feel easier. But have you ever noticed that avoiding important work doesn't remove it? It only increases pressure later, and when that pressure builds up, does it make your life easier or more stressful? Every time you choose distraction over importance, you are training your mind to lose focus. And every time you choose importance over distraction, you are training your mind to grow stronger. So tell me, which version of yourself are you building right now without even realizing it? Because at the end of the day, success is not about doing everything. It is about doing the right things before anything else takes your attention. Plan your day the night before to stay in control. Because when you wake up without a plan, the world immediately starts planning your day for you. Have you ever noticed how some mornings feel like you are already behind before you even start? That usually happens when your mind is still unclear about what matters most. Don't you feel that confusion sometimes? The night before is not just the end of your day, it is actually the beginning of your next day. If you go to sleep without direction, you wake up into randomness. But tell me honestly, how often do you actually sit for just 5 minutes before sleeping and decide what tomorrow should look like? Or do you just fall asleep with unfinished thoughts and wake up reacting again? When you plan your day at night, you give your brain a roadmap. Without that roadmap, your mind starts picking whatever is easiest in the moment. And what usually feels easiest in the morning, focus or distraction, because the mind is not strong at decision-making early in the day, it follows habits instead. Have you noticed that in your own routine? Most people underestimate the power of night planning. They think planning is something they will figure out in the morning, but by then, distractions have already taken over. So let me ask you, how many times have you promised yourself in the morning that you will be productive, but by afternoon the day feels completely different? The truth is, your evening mindset shapes your morning behavior. If you end your day scattered, you start your day scattered. But if you end your day with clarity, you start your day with purpose. Do you think your current nighttime routine is preparing you for success or just helping you escape into sleep without direction? Even a simple list of 3 important tasks for tomorrow can completely change how you approach your day. Because when you wake up, you are not thinking, you are executing. And tell me, don't you feel more confident when you already know what your first step should be instead of figuring it out in confusion? Many people carry mental pressure to bed, thinking about unfinished work, messages, or worries. But instead of solving those thoughts, they just sleep on them. And when you wake up like that, do you feel refreshed or already mentally overloaded? That is why planning at night is not just productivity, it is peace of mind. Think about this carefully. What is better? Waking up and deciding your direction in a rushed mind, or waking up already knowing your direction clearly? Because in the morning, your thinking power is limited, but at night, your mind is calmer and more reflective. Have you ever tried using that calm moment to actually design your next day? When you plan your day at night, you are basically telling your future self what to focus on. And when morning comes, you don't waste energy deciding, you simply act. So let me ask you, how much time do you think you lose every morning just trying to figure out where to start? Some people say they don't have time to plan, but ironically, they lose more time during the day because they didn't plan. And without planning, every task feels equally important, even the unimportant ones. So how do you usually decide what to do first when nothing is written down the night before. Planning is not about making a complicated schedule. It is about creating direction. Even if your plan changes, at least you have a starting point. And tell me, do you feel more confident when you enter your day with structure or when you enter it with uncertainty? Imagine going to sleep knowing exactly what tomorrow looks like. Your first task, your focus area, your priority already decided. How different would your morning feel if there was no confusion waiting for you? And if you tried this for just 1 week, do you think your productivity would shift even slightly? The night is often wasted on random scrolling, entertainment, or overthinking. But what if even 10 minutes of that time was used to prepare your next day? Do you think your life would feel more controlled or still chaotic if that became your habit? Because the difference between stressed people and focused people is not the amount of work they do, it is how clearly they start their day. And clarity does not appear in the morning by magic, it is created the night before. So what do your nights usually create for your mornings? Clarity or confusion? If you build the habit of planning at night, you slowly train your mind to respect structure. And when your mind respects structure, your actions become more aligned automatically. So tell me, do you want to keep waking up into randomness? Or do you want to wake up into direction that you already chose consciously? Discipline your time. Don't let your time discipline you. Because every day your time is either your servant or your master. There is no middle ground. Have you ever felt like the day just passed and you were reacting to everything instead of controlling anything? That feeling usually comes when your time is leading you instead of you leading your time. Don't you recognize that sometimes? Time itself is neutral, but your habits give it direction. When you are disciplined, time becomes your tool, but when you are undisciplined, time becomes your pressure. So tell me honestly, who is controlling your day right now? You or your habits? Because most people think they are in control, but their phone, their distractions, and their emotions are actually deciding more than they realize. Discipline is not about being strict. It is about being aware. It is the ability to say no to things that waste your time and yes to things that build your future. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to say no to small distractions, even when you know they are not helping you? And if saying no to small things is difficult, how do you expect to say yes to big success? Many people wait for motivation to manage their time, but motivation is unstable. One day it is high, the next day it disappears. But discipline is stable. It does not depend on mood. So let me ask you, do you usually depend on how you feel before you start your work, or do you control your actions regardless of how you feel? Think about your daily routine carefully. How many times do you lose control of your time without even realizing it? A few minutes on your phone turns into an hour. A short break becomes a long delay, and suddenly your day is gone. Have you ever asked yourself where your time actually disappeared? Discipline means protecting your time like something valuable, because once it is gone, you cannot get it back. But most people treat time like it is unlimited. Tell me, if you knew your time was money, would you still spend it the same way every day? When you are disciplined, even small actions become powerful. Waking up on time, starting work on time, finishing tasks on time, all these small habits build a strong structure in your life. But when discipline is missing, even simple tasks feel heavy and delayed. Have you noticed how some days feel smooth and others feel completely chaotic? Your time is constantly being pulled in different directions, messages, notifications, people, emotions, entertainment, and every pull takes a little piece of your focus away. So tell me, how often do you actually protect your time instead of giving it away to whatever demands your attention? Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build through repetition. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you are strengthening it. And every time you choose distraction over focus, you are weakening it. So what kind of pattern are you building right now without even noticing it? Imagine two people starting the same day. One is disciplined with his time, the other is controlled by it. One decides what to do, the other reacts to what comes. After a few hours, who do you think feels more in control of their life? And which version of yourself are you becoming more like every single day? Sometimes people think they are busy, but being busy is not the same as being disciplined. You can be busy and still waste time, or you can be focused and move forward with less effort. So let me ask you, when you end your day, do you feel progress or just exhaustion? Discipline also means controlling your attention, because where your attention goes, your time follows. If your attention is scattered, your time will be scattered too. Have you ever tried to focus deeply on one important task without checking anything else and noticed how powerful that feels? The hardest part is not knowing what to do. The hardest part is actually doing it without letting distractions win. Because distractions always feel easier in the moment, but they cost you later. So tell me, do you choose what is easy now or what is valuable later? When you start disciplining your time, something interesting happens. Your confidence increases because you begin to trust yourself more. And tell me, don't you feel stronger when you actually do what you planned instead of constantly postponing it? Time does not wait for anyone, but you can learn to lead it instead of being pushed by it. And when you lead your time, your life slowly starts becoming clearer, more structured, more meaningful, even in small ways that you can feel every day. Small, consistent actions create long-term success because success is rarely built in one big moment. It is built quietly through thousands of small decisions you repeat every day. Have you ever looked at successful people and wondered what they are doing differently that makes their life so stable and strong? The answer is not one big secret. It is many small habits done consistently over time. Don't you think that is interesting? People often underestimate small actions because they don't see immediate results. But tell me honestly, how many times have you given up on something just because it didn't show results quickly